All right, we'll call to order our regular meeting of the West Valley City Council this February 1st, 2022 at 6:37. Thank you for your patience in the chamber, West Valley Council chambers in West Valley City Hall. We will note that electronically and in person, we have everyone in attendance except Council Member Hoon, who has been excused. Sorry, I'm going to need a drink partway. We will now turn the time over to our Inside the City video.
Here we go.
I like to come every week to do my exercise.
Fourth, and we just go into an X. As people get older, we don't realize that activity is so important. And simple things as just moving is really good for you.
You know, you got exercise for your head, your arm. It's very good.
My name is Jill Boyd, and I teach a drum class for the senior center. And after you do your tapping, we do the clapping.
I'm very happy because they keep me more active.
It's a lot of fun. It's very lighthearted. We do a lot of different moves each song. We try to focus on movement, but also hand-eye coordination, which is really important.
I'm happy and very active, you know. Yeah, it's very nice to be here. I love it.
So come on out to the West Valley Senior Center and try out our class. It's every Wednesday at 10. We would really love to see your beautiful faces.
Well, I'm going to say thank you and God bless you, everybody, to work at this place. Yeah, very happy.
Lovely job, ladies.
Thank you. That was very nice. We have our special recognitions, and we'd like to recognize a group of young men here tonight. And do we have one that's going to come up and represent the group? Okay, come on up to the mic and tell us about you.
Hi, I'm representing young men. I go to John F. Kennedy Junior High. Also go to Neil Armstrong and Hunter High School. Let me pull it up real quick. With the past 2 years that COVID-19 has affected, there has been an increase in mental health issues. What, if anything, can you as a council do to address this increasing issue? Yeah.
Thank you. We usually don't answer over the phone, but we are over the dais. But we will take that up in one of our study sessions.
Thank you.
Discuss it there. Thank you. We'll now move on to our minutes of January 25th, 2022. Is there any discussion or motion on the minutes?
Ma'am, your microphone is up.
It's on halftime, right? Okay, sorry about that. Let me repeat that for you. We now have the minutes of January 25th, 2022. Is there any discussion or a motion from the council?
Move to
Move to approve those minutes.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes, Zoom does have a little bit of a delay, so we do have to be patient with each other. We will now move to our public comment period. We will accept public comment. Our limited time is 30 minutes. Any person wishing to comment shall limit their minutes to 5 minutes each. And sorry, I got distracted and now I've got it. No. So if you'd please just come up to the mic when you're called on. You will be addressing the mayor and there will be no discussion. We do If it's a new item we haven't discussed in a study session, then there are off times that we'll discuss them there, and that's where the follow-up will be. There will not be a question and answer. It's just your 5 minutes to address us. So we have a sign-up sheet. Number 1. And then when you get to the mic, if you just tell us your name, we have your address here.
Thank you. Daryl Curtis. A few weeks ago, there was in your study meeting, there was some discussion about the Bangor Highway and going over or under on 47th West. And then also there's the discussion about I think the Jordan Valley Water District, they have a pipeline. It's my understanding that that pipeline that is going to have to be moved, and that probably UDOT is going to be the one that's going to be paying for that. And that they'll probably have to move it probably a long ways, not just for 47th, but for 41st and for 35th and so forth, because of the way it's placed. So I think there's some consideration to make a betterment, as I learned from your last discussion, to have a betterment in our city, to have a no overpasses on Bangor Highway, but have underpasses. I've been privileged, I guess, to go down Bangor for the last few weeks, and it is quite nice to go on those underpasses. And I think the cities, I think it was South Jordan that did that. West Jordan did not. And it's always been amazing to me how you can go from right before 90th South going southbound, and you go clear down, and then you climb the mountain to go over 90th South. And I would recommend to the council, and I understand that it would be a cost, but some of that cost, I think, working with UDOT would defray that cost and would chip in more money. I strongly recommend the council to consider that. I bet if you went and talked to those people that lived right next to Bangor Highway on I think it was 70th South. I got off on off of Bangor, and there's houses right next to that. How they feel about the corridor or the Bangor right next to them. And then I know where I live. I live right on the other side of Mountain View, and it goes under Selma Drive, right there where I live, and it's I think it's a lot quieter than it probably would be going over. So I just think for betterment of our society, yes, of our community also. I've never seen where they put a freeway in and they put an overpass in, and then 10, 20, 50 years later, they decide, well, let's put an underpass. So whatever decision is made, it's forever. So I would rather see a betterment in our city and have a underpass all along Bangor. And I think thank you for your time.
Thank you. Speaker 2. Mr. Foster, there we go.
Sorry, I thought when I came up here first, that was my time to ask my question. So my bad. I'm sorry.
You're good.
That's
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Do we have anybody else in the audience? Go ahead.
I wanted to be the last one, so. Friday was strategic plan, last Friday. Very interesting, especially with the new guys being there. And a lot of things were talked about. And I'm excited to see what the city's going to do, especially in the next year. I think it was my third, maybe fourth one. And in the past years, it didn't seem like we really had a bunch of commitment for what we were going to do. There was a lot of goals that were set. There was time frames that were set, and that's something different since I've been attending them. And so I'm excited to see where the city goes, and that's all I'm going to do.
Okay, thank you. Was there anyone else that didn't have a chance to sign up that would like to come and speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period and send it over to Mr. Pyle. Do you have any comments for today?
Thanks, ma'am. No comments tonight, other than great
illustration of our Maverick Center successes in the last week in the earlier meeting. So thanks for that.
Oh, my pleasure. It was great. Okay, any council members?
I had a
In case you're-
comment.
Oh, yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. I just wanted to commend the young man who attended tonight and is in addressment of the question that was asked. And that's correct, that typically we don't have a question and answer for public comment. But I did just want to state that we do have a Healthy West Valley initiative that is endorsed or supported by the city. And mental and behavioral health is definitely one of the priority areas that are addressed there. We've done QPR trainings for suicide prevention and crisis intervention. We also support various mental health programs and facilities like Optum and others within West Valley City. And would love to have your involvement. If any of you are interested, please contact someone up there at the fancy dais. We can get you information on Healthy West Valley and some of the things we're doing around mental health. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I was just going to add on to Mr. Pyle's comment that Tool broke records at the Maverick Center last week. So that's what his comment was. So we have great success starting back up after COVID. Seeing no other comments, we'll go to our ordinances. We have ordinance 22-03. Mr. Pyle, would you like to go through that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So this subject came up some time ago in discussion with council about how we are processing these text change applications. And one of the discussions that came up was we seem to be having a unusual number of these, covering an unusual number of subjects. So we talked about various ways that affected the staff, policy consideration, that sort of thing. In those conversations, we were asked to review the fee that's charged for those, which is currently $250, hasn't been updated in 24 years since 1998. And so staff went back and reviewed the actual cost, did a very detailed analysis of what that is, came up with an actual cost to city staff and time and everybody that is included in that of $1,300 to propose that, or I'm sorry, to process those applications. So the ordinance before you would change that fee from $250 to $1,300.
Okay, thank you. So I will now turn it to the council for a comment or a motion.
I just want to remind the public that, if there's an issue that seems unjust or needs to be fixed with our ordinances, they can always approach a member of the city council and we can bring it forward. And if we think that would be right and avoid this fee. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve this ordinance 22-03.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll turn it over to our city recorder.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilman Whetstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. We will now move to our resolution 22-23. Mr. Pyle?
Thank you, ma'am. This is another one that's a little bit unusual on the land use side. So this is a proposed development agreement between the city and SEA LLC. And at 2781 West and 4100 South, there is an R18 zoned piece of property that's 27,170 square feet, which would normally allow for 3 lots to be developed on that property. But because of the narrow frontages, that can't happen except by development agreement with the council. There are 2 ways to consider this that the council is looking at. The first is that if we allow the developer and adopt this development agreement, then those 3 lots would be developed with the residential development standards the city has developed over the years. Recently, the state legislature changed laws allowing us to mandate that. We would have to normally negotiate that through development agreements. If the council doesn't want to adopt the development agreement, then the developer can still develop that, but it would be on 2 lots, and then they would not be held to the residential development standards as previously adopted by the council. So that's the choice before you. Adopting the development agreement and the resolution would allow for the 3 units. Denying the development agreement would then allow the developer to do it on the 2 units.
Okay,
Or, I'm sorry, 2 lots.
2 lots.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Which would equal 2 units, correct?
I'm sorry, what?
2 lots would equal 2 units.
Yes,
so it was
true,
right.
but
Okay.
2 lots is the better way to put it. Yes,
I just didn't want confusion out.
right, right.
Okay. So do we have any discussion or a motion on this one?
Motion of denial of resolution 2223. That's what I propose.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, and we'll turn it over to our city recorder.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
No.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
No.
Motion for denial passes by majority.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move to application PUD 2-2021. Mr. Pyle?
Thank you, ma'am. Pardon me. Thank you, ma'am. This is an administrative consideration for final plat approval for a development of a PUD, planned unit development. I was trying to come up with the P, couldn't remember. At 6087 West Parkway Boulevard, has 84 units on 13.8 acres.
And this is nice. This will be one of our senior
Yes.
living, not a senior living center, but senior living as far as individual homes.
Right.
So just in case you guys don't know, if it's designated for seniors, then it's 55 and older, right?
55, yes.
55 and older, yes. And only a certain percentage cannot adhere to that. So it's mainly a nice little quiet neighborhood. So turn it over to the council for any comments or a vote or a motion, sorry.
Just a comment. I'm guessing this is subdivision will be a topic of discussion when we get to public streets and developments.
Oh.
I'm just guessing this is going to be an example that I'm going to bring up when we discuss that. So, but with that, motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll turn it over to Ms. Kamak.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. We now have our consent agenda, which is a pretty common item that we do, and it's for a right-of-way on some construction we're doing. And so it usually doesn't need much introduction. So I'll turn it now to the council for discussion or a motion.
I move for approval of the one item in our consent agenda. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. So we don't have a need for a closed session. So our last motion is to adjourn. May I get one of those?
So moved.
Okay.
Let's stay here.
Let's stay here all night. Dinner will be served. You've ordered something in? All right, we have a motion from Councilman Fitzie Umanu. So do we have a second? Do we need a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you for coming and hope to see you all next week.